More backlash today for Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis after their video explaining why they wrote letters of support for convicted rapist Danny Masterson.
We are aware of the pain.
Fierce backlash today for Ashton Kutcher and wife Mila Kunis as they apologize for the character letter calling that 70s show star Danny Masterson an outstanding role model.
When a beloved celebrity faces tough times, the world watches closely. For Ashton Kutcher, it's been a wild emotional ride, headlines, and questions. Once a Hollywood golden boy and tech-savvy entrepreneur, his recent controversies have left many fans wondering whether he can bounce back. From shocking revelations to heartwarming stories of hope and determination, Kutcher's journey has been anything but ordinary. But what led to this moment? And more importantly, what lies ahead for him? Join us as we uncover the twists and turns in Ashton Kutcher's incredible journey. The backlash begins. Ashton Kutcher, long admired for his contributions to Hollywood and his outspoken advocacy against child exploitation, is now under fire from the public.
To fight human trafficking and the exploitation of children. And that's our core mission. My other day job is that of the father of two, a 2-month-old and a 2-year-old. And as part of that job that I take very seriously, I believe that it is my effort.
Recent events have cast a shadow over his once untouchable reputation, leaving many fans questioning his decisions and integrity. The first spark of controversy came when Kutcher, along with his wife Mila Kunis, wrote character reference letters for Danny Masterson. Masterson, their co-star on that 70s show, had been convicted on 2 counts of assault. Their letters, written in support of Masterson's character and pleading for leniency, ignited a storm of criticism online and across media platforms. But this was only the beginning of the story. Stay with us to see what unfolded next. The backlash was swift and unforgiving. Advocacy groups, fans, and even former supporters condemned Kutcher and Kunis for their actions, accusing them of undermining the voices of survivors. Social media platforms erupted with calls to cancel the couple, and hashtags like #AshtonKutcher and #MilaKunis trended for days. While some argued that their letters were intended to highlight Masterson's positive qualities outside of his crimes, others viewed it as a betrayal to victims everywhere. The outcry was loud enough to reach the boardroom of Thorn, the anti-child abuse organization Kutcher co-founded. Under much pressure, Kutcher stepped down as chairman of Thorn in September 2023. In his resignation letter, he expressed regret for the pain caused by his actions, admitting that his support for Masterson had clouded his judgment. The move, while necessary in the eyes of many, did little to repair the damage done. Critics pointed out the irony of an advocate for abuse. Victims siding with a convicted, tarnishing the reputation of the very organization he helped build. While the controversy surrounding the letters was at its peak, another issue began to surface. People started revisiting Kutcher's past interviews and associations, unearthing moments that seemed questionable in light of recent events. One resurfaced clip from 2019 showed Kutcher struggling to describe the infamous parties hosted by Sean "Diddy" Combs.
So he comes over to go for a run. About halfway through the run, he's like, yo, I'm running out of gas right now. But we had like paparazzi all around us at the time. He's like, you gotta slow down and but make it look like you're not slowing down.
The video gained traction online after Combs faced legal troubles involving allegations of trafficking and racketeering. The connection between Kutcher and Combs, though distant, became a weakness for detractors to exploit and undermine the actor's credibility. Public opinion on Kutcher began to shift further as people questioned the company he kept and the values he upheld. What had once been an image of a charming, relatable actor was now one clouded by poor decisions and questionable judgment. These associations, paired with his defense of Masterson, made it difficult for some fans to continue supporting him. As if the storm wasn't intense enough, rumors began to spread about potential cracks in Kutcher and Kunis's marriage. Tabloid headlines speculated on whether the couple could withstand the backlash, with some outlets claiming they were headed for a split. However, close sources refuted these claims, asserting that the couple remained united. Still, the pressure of public scrutiny undoubtedly took a toll on their relationship. Together, they faced not only the court of public opinion, but also the challenge of protecting their family and careers from further damage. Throughout this period, many wondered why Kutcher and Kunis had decided to write those letters in the first place. What were they hoping to achieve? And more importantly, did they truly understand the weight of their words? These questions continued as the public continued to dissect their motivations and actions. For some, their intentions didn't matter. What mattered was the harm caused to survivors of abuse and the message their support sent to the world. The fallout also extended to Kutcher's professional life. While his roles in Hollywood had already diminished in recent years, this scandal made it even harder for him to land new opportunities.
Kutcher wants Masterson to be found innocent of the charges brought against him, but at the same time doesn't want his friend to get off the hook. Quote, "I wholesale feel for anybody who feels like they were violated in any way."
Studios and brands were wary of associating with someone under such intense scrutiny. The actor, who had once been a bankable star, now found himself in an uncertain position, both professionally and personally. But despite the setbacks, Kutcher hasn't completely disappeared from public life. He continues to maintain a social media presence, occasionally sharing updates about himself. However, every post is met with a mix of support and criticism, reflecting the divided opinions surrounding him. For someone who built a career on being likable and relatable, this new reality is just different. What makes this story so captivating is his fall from grace. Ashton Kutcher, who many saw as a champion for justice and a voice for the voiceless, now faces a tough battle to regain public trust. The very qualities that once endeared him to millions are now being questioned. And as more details emerge, the story becomes even more complex. What comes next in this unfolding saga? Don't go anywhere. There's still much more to uncover. New revelations and the shocking fallout. Ashton Kutcher's problems didn't stop at public backlash or stepping down from Thorn. Soon, new details about his life and career started coming to light, further shaking his public image. One of the most surprising revelations came from old colleagues who began speaking out about working with him. Stories surfaced about his behavior on sets, with some questioning whether he had always been as squeaky clean as he seemed. Though the claims didn't suggest anything major, they were enough to make people look at him differently. Another twist came when fans revisited Kutcher's role as host of the prank show Punk'd. While it was once considered a hilarious hit, critics now viewed the show's antics through a different lens. Many pranks involved tricking unsuspecting celebrities into extremely stressful or humiliating situations. And some felt that these stunts were needlessly cruel. One infamous episode involved a prank on Justin Timberlake, where Kutcher made Timberlake believe that his possessions were being repossessed. Though Timberlake laughed about it later, others questioned if the psychological toll of such pranks had been overlooked. This reassessment added to the growing conversation about Kutcher's moral judgment, as fans started to wonder if his public image had always masked a more problematic side. At the same time, media outlets began dissecting Kutcher's business ventures.
With one guy, that Ashton Kutcher, Yeah, actor-ish. Didn't get on with him at all.
While his investments in tech startups have been praised for years, some observers started scrutinizing his involvement in certain companies. Critics pointed out his stake in apps and platforms that have faced controversy over data privacy issues and worker treatment. Though Kutcher's connection to these problems was indirect, the timing of these revelations made it seem like yet another stain on his record. Adding fuel to the fire, some social media users began pointing out inconsistencies in Kutcher's past interviews. For example, in one older clip, he discussed balancing his Hollywood career with his family life. While his words seemed harmless at the time, critics now interpreted them as a subtle jab at other actors who prioritized their careers over their personal lives. These resurfaced moments, though minor on their own, painted a picture of someone who might not be as genuine as he appeared. Away from Hollywood, there were also personal struggles that began to come up. Kutcher, who has always been open about his brother Michael's battle with cerebral palsy, faced questions about whether his public support for his family had always been sincere. In the midst of all this, Kutcher faced challenges with his health that few people knew about. He previously revealed that he had a rare form of vasculitis, which left him temporarily unable to see, hear, or walk. Though the announcement initially earned him sympathy, some critics later accused him of using his health scare to distract from the controversies surrounding him. The timing of the revelation raised eyebrows, with some questioning whether it was a calculated move to regain public favor. Meanwhile, more attention fell on Kutcher's relationship with Mila Kunis. While the two had long been regarded as a Hollywood power couple, the controversies tested their partnership in new ways. Interestingly, as the fallout continued, Kutcher attempted to rebuild his image by making strategic appearances. He was spotted at a charity event in Los Angeles, where he and Kunis were described as having the best date. Perhaps the most surprising development, though, came when other celebrities started speaking up. A-list stars who had worked with Kutcher in the past offered differing opinions about him. Some praised him as a kind and hard-working individual, while others hinted at moments of tension or arrogance on set. These contrasting narratives only deepened the mystery surrounding who Kutcher really is. Despite the noise, Kutcher still has his loyal supporters. Many fans point out that everyone makes mistakes and believe he deserves a chance to learn from his missteps. They argue that his work with Thorn and other charities shouldn't be overshadowed by recent events. However, even among his defenders,
Is basically a platform to allow people to transfer money from bank account to bank account, person to person, really securely, really simply, really quickly. Okay?
there's an acknowledgement that the road to redemption won't be easy. It's worth noting that Kutcher's case has sparked broader conversations about celebrity culture and accountability. As someone who has spent decades in the public eye, Kutcher is now grappling with the double-edged sword of fame. The same platforms that once elevated him to stardom are now amplifying criticisms of his actions. For many, his story is a cautionary tale about the dangers of relying too heavily on public goodwill. But his ability to bounce back from these challenges will depend not only on his actions, but also on the public's willingness to forgive. Whether he can reclaim his position as a beloved Hollywood figure remains to be seen. But the twists in his story aren't done yet. Keep watching. There's more to uncover in this unraveling saga. The hidden costs of fame. Fame often comes with a price tag that many don't see. For Ashton Kutcher, this price became clear as the controversies unraveled the different aspects of his life that he might have preferred to keep private. One aspect that caught many off guard was his relationship with social media, a platform he once championed as a force for good. Years ago, Kutcher famously became the first person to reach 1 million followers on Twitter. But now, his presence online feels more like a burden. Every post he makes is scrutinized, with critics dissecting his words and questioning his motives. For someone who once thrived on digital connections, the internet has turned into a breeding ground for negativity. Another aspect of his life that came under scrutiny was his role as a father. Kutcher has always spoken proudly about raising his 2 children with Mila Kunis, and the couple famously chose to keep their kids out of the public eye. Yet, critics questioned whether this privacy was truly about protecting their children or maintaining a carefully crafted family image. The recent controversies added fuel to the fire, with some accusing Kutcher of using his fatherly persona to shift attention from his mistakes. Though these accusations may seem harsh, they reflect a growing skepticism about how public figures use their personal lives to shape narratives. Away from his career and family, there's another side to Kutcher's story: his relationship with his hometown of Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Despite his Hollywood success, he has often returned to his roots, supporting local businesses and community initiatives. Kutcher's philanthropic work also became a topic of debate. Beyond his involvement with Thorn, he has supported various causes over the years, from children's health to disaster relief. However, in the wake of the recent fallout, skeptics began questioning the true impact of his efforts. Some argued that while his intentions might have been genuine, his approach lacked transparency and long-term results. Also, while there's no concrete evidence suggesting otherwise, some people speculated that Kutcher's involvement in philanthropic causes might have been as much about image building as it was about doing good. These speculations, fair or not, added to the skepticism surrounding his character. Such criticisms bring attention to a common issue that celebrities face: balancing public expectations with the realities of making a difference. One surprising twist in this ongoing saga involves Kutcher's early days in Hollywood. When he first started as a model and actor, he was known for his charm and good looks. But behind the scenes, there were moments of struggle and self-doubt. Old interviews reveal a young man grappling with the pressures of fame and the fear of being typecast as just another pretty face. These revelations, though years old, now take on a new meaning as fans and critics alike reconsider his journey in light of recent events. Meanwhile, the entertainment industry's response to Kutcher's controversies has been mixed. Some directors and producers who've worked with him in the past have expressed support, describing him as a dedicated professional. Others, however, have remained silent, leading to speculation about whether they're hesitant to associate with him publicly. This silence speaks volumes in Hollywood, where perception is often as important as reality. Kutcher's friendships have also been put under the microscope. In particular, his relationships with other high-profile figures in the industry have faced questions. While some of his friends have stood by him, others have distanced themselves, either out of disagreement or fear of public backlash. These expose the delicate nature of high-profile relationships, where loyalty is often tested by public opinion. And as all these events unfolded, it became clear that Kutcher was not just fighting to save his reputation, he was also battling internal struggles. These expose the delicate nature of high-profile relationships, where loyalty is often tested by public opinion. And as all these events unfolded, it became clear that Kutcher was not just fighting to save his reputation, he was also battling internal struggles. Reports emerged of him seeking counseling to process the fallout and reflect on his decisions. While such steps are commendable, they also highlight the serious pressure he's under to deal with this chapter of his life with grace. Well, this isn't the first time he's turned to counseling. Back when Ashton Kutcher was married to Demi Moore, They went for Kabbalah counseling to deal with problems in their relationship.
Demi Moore is on GMA, and she's telling us about her life like we've never heard it before. Today, she talks to Diane about her marriages to Bruce Willis and Ashton Kutcher.
The sessions were meant to help them work through issues like rumors of cheating and emotional distance. Even though it didn't save their marriage, it shows how Ashton often looks for help when facing tough times. And then there's the question of what's next for Ashton Kutcher. Will he continue acting, or will he retreat from the spotlight altogether? Some industry insiders speculate that he might move to behind-the-scenes roles, such as producing or investing in creative projects. Others believe he could dedicate himself entirely to philanthropy, using his platform to rebuild his image and make a lasting impact. Whatever path he chooses, the unfolding story of Ashton Kutcher only goes to show the complexities of fame. Behind the red carpets and magazine covers is a reality that's often messy, complicated, and deeply human. As the public continues to watch his every move, the lessons from his experience extend far beyond one person. They reflect the challenges and contradictions of being a public figure in today's world. Keep watching. There's even more to uncover in the final chapter of this fascinating story. A new era or the end of the road. Ashton Kutcher's story has always been one of reinvention. Over the years, he's taken on countless roles, both on and off the screen, that have shaped how people perceive him.
Another twist in the saga of Ashton and Demi as Kutcher decided to produce his own online video to address the rumors about his marriage that have gone viral. It had some thinking of the actor he replaced on 2.5 Men, Charlie Sheen, who's also speaking out now that the show's ratings are taking a bit of a hit.
But what happens when reinvention no longer feels like a choice, but a necessity? For Kutcher, this question is bigger than ever, as he faces the aftermath of recent controversies. Amid all the noise, some surprising voices have risen in his defense. Former co-stars who had long stayed out of the spotlight began sharing stories about the man behind the headlines. One such story came from a lesser-known actor who worked with Kutcher during his early years in Hollywood. They recalled how he would stay after hours, helping crew members clean up the set, a simple act that left a lasting impression. While stories like this may seem minor, they paint a more diverse picture of someone trying to balance kindness with ambition in an industry that demands perfection. However, not everyone is convinced by these defenses. Public figures, especially those who fall from grace, often find themselves at the mercy of social movements. Kutcher's situation is no different. His recent missteps have brought up deeper conversations about accountability in Hollywood, with some groups calling for more systemic changes. These demands go beyond any single individual, reflecting a growing frustration with how the industry handles power, privilege, and responsibility. One of the most difficult parts of Kutcher's journey is the toll it has taken on his mental health. At some point, he had to deal with anxiety and depression in ways he never has before. Despite his wealth and success, Kutcher's struggles remind us that fame doesn't shield anyone from the pressures of life. Away from Hollywood, over the years, Kutcher has invested in tech companies, some of which have grown into household names. What's less known, however, is how those businesses are reacting to his current predicament. While no major public statements have been made, some developments during this trying time suggest that his involvement in certain projects has been scaled back. Investors are wary of associating with a figure whose public image is under intense scrutiny, even if his business acumen remains respected. There's also a quieter aspect to his life that many overlook: his relationship with nature. Kutcher has often spoken about his love for the outdoors, a passion that developed during his childhood in Iowa. Recently, he and his wife were spotted hiking in a remote area, far from the paparazzi's reach. Witnesses described him as reflective, even somber, as he took in the scenery. For someone who has spent much of his life in front of cameras, moments like this offer a rare glimpse of vulnerability. Despite the ongoing challenges, Kutcher is not entirely without opportunities. His influence in Hollywood may have diminished, but there are whispers about him returning. That's right. Many people have been puzzled by Ashton Kutcher and Diddy's friendship over the years, wondering how the two became so close. Despite the curiosity, Kutcher has turned his focus on something even bigger: his return to acting. Fans who have missed seeing him on screen will soon have something to look forward to. Such a move could mark a turning point, offering him a chance to rebuild his career while exploring the complexities of redemption. Another interesting development is his growing involvement in advocacy for mental health awareness. While his work with Thorn focuses on protecting children,
And that's our core mission. My other day job is that of the father of two, a 2-month-old and a 2-year-old. And as part of that job that I take very seriously, I believe that it is my effort to defend their right to pursue happiness and to ensure a society and government that defends it as well.
Kutcher is now reportedly considering initiatives that address the stigma surrounding mental health issues. If this effort materializes, it could not only help others, but also provide him with a path to healing and self-improvement. Fans, too, play a key role in this unfolding narrative. Social media is flooded with debates between those who believe Kutcher deserves a second chance and those who think his time in the spotlight should end. Interestingly, some of his oldest supporters, who grew up watching That 70s Show, have expressed disappointment not just in him, but in how they feel their nostalgia has been tarnished. Yet, there are others who argue that everyone makes mistakes, and that the true test of character lies in how one chooses to move forward. Kutcher's wife, Mila Kunis, also remains a key figure in this chapter of his life. While she's been careful about her public statements, her actions speak volumes. Observers have noted how the couple has become more private, stepping away from public events and limiting their media appearances. This withdrawal has led to speculation about how the controversies have impacted their marriage, though close friends suggest they're facing these challenges together. Perhaps one of the most important elements of Kutcher's story is the idea of legacy. For years, he was celebrated as an example of how someone from humble beginnings could achieve extraordinary success. But now, that legacy is uncertain. Kutcher's story is no longer just about triumph. It's also about perseverance, mistakes, and the messy process of growth. What we know is that his journey hasn't ended. Whether he rebuilds his image, reinvents his career, or retreats from the public eye altogether, his story will continue to spark conversations. As the public watches and waits, there are no doubts that the road ahead will be anything but predictable. Ashton Kutcher's story reminds us that redemption is never a straight path. His highs and lows remind us that even those we admire most are only human. What do you think? Can he rebuild his legacy, or will this mark the end of his time in the spotlight? Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more stories that keep you thinking. And click the following video shown on your screen. You won't want to miss it.